In the years that followed, the people of Haddonfield descended into a plague of grief.
Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge.
And I'm Ashley Sledge.
And let's talk horror. Now, today we are joined by two people that if I said that we were in love with and head over heels with, we would be underselling how much these two mean to us. So we are joined by the amazing Robbie and Kaylie of That Horror Couple. How you doing today, guys?
Good. How are you guys?
I love you, Ken.
I love you, buddy.
I think Ken's flirting with me, I think, a little bit.
You're finally catching on.
Oh, Ken.
So the good thing about having these two back on is they really are two people that have been very good friends with Ashley and I for a couple years now. So if you've been following our channel, you've seen them a couple different times. But if you haven't and you're new here, I do have their links down in the description. Not only do I have their YouTube links for you guys to subscribe to, but I also have their social media links. So you guys can follow along with everything that they have coming up in the future. And you can catch up on all the things they've done in the past. So for the people that don't know you guys, can you tell us a little bit about what you guys do?
Yeah, we basically talk anything like horror movie related. We love to do the newer horror movies that come out, horror movie trailer reactions, horror movie reviews. Like we recently did the new Evil Dead film. We did a trailer reaction for Five Nights at Freddy's, which that was cool. So yeah, we do stuff like that.
And we're also a couple, so we do each other.
Oh my god,
it's very romantic. It's passionate, man.
Pics or it didn't happen. So another great thing about you two is I love your guys' trailer reactions.
Yes.
I love the opening song that you guys have on your videos. And you guys have been doing this for quite a while now. One thing that we've been kind of incorporating into this, for people that are just starting their YouTube channel and trying to get around to doing this, what are some advice that you can give to people that are just up and coming on a channel?
Well, I think it's good to just be really excited and passionate about, it has to be like a subject that you're super excited and passionate about, because while it is a lot of fun, it is a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, but I would say don't worry about working hard. Just be into what you're doing, because when you're into what you're doing, the work just comes naturally. And and also don't overthink things, because when our first couple of videos, I overthought everything, and I did like 100 takes, and I was like, yo, it's so much better when we just leave in the mistakes and just do one take. It's more natural. I was like, just have fun with it, you're going to get the occasional troll, but you're also, most people are nice. So you got to rise above the hate and keep going. There's going to be people that are like, you suck. You guys are terrible. Stop doing this. And that was just from my dad who told me that. That was just my dad. But we rose above the hate and we kept going.
That's hilarious.
We're all laughing. He's like, I'm dead.
He's like, no, really.
No, that was my dad.
It's true.
But it is amazing to watch how far you guys have come.
Yeah.
Like I said, we were there pretty much when you guys first started out. We were able to connect when you guys were pretty in your infancy of the channel. And
you guys have come so far, and you're so deserving of it. So
we're very
I'll tell you a story, Ken.
Thank you so much.
You interviewed Bloodbath TV, and I was a fan of that channel. And I just left a comment like, yo, a fan of Bloodbath. And you hit me up. You're like, I'll interview you guys. I'm like, is this a joke? I'm like, he wants to interview us? I'm like, why? I was like, what for? I was like, but it turned into like a great friendship. And
yeah, absolutely.
I'll always remember like you were the first guy to.
I don't feel like it matters, like how big you are on YouTube. Like if you want to talk horror with us, like come on.
That's how we've always felt. Like we will. The only time that we ever pay attention to anything is we always try to watch people's videos first to make sure that they have the right integrity.
Oh yeah.
We don't want to bring the wrong type of people on, but we've never once looked at how many subscribers do those people have? How many followers do they have on social media?
It doesn't matter.
We don't care about that. No. We look at the quality of the person, and you two are two of the best that we know. So make sure you guys, if you haven't already, you are subscribing to their YouTube channel.
Yes.
You are following them on social media, but we're not here just to talk about that. I believe Ashley has a question for you guys.
So do you guys want to tell everyone what movie we are defending today?
Oh.
Halloween is.
Yes. We went there. We went there, people.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
Oh, so defense.
I'm going to be... We're going all sports in here.
It's like like at the sports games.
Yeah.
Nobody joined in.
Completely honest with you, I thought that this movie would have a lot lower scores
Yeah,
than it does.
This isn't even the lowest Halloween movie in Rotten Tomato scores or audience scores.
Right. So the tomato meter on this one is 40%.
Yes.
And the audience score is actually at 57%.
It blows my mind, actually.
I think that may be one of the highest rated ones we've done so far.
I think so.
I think that we've mostly intermingled with the 43% of the other audiences when it comes to this film. So, this is a movie that, it's a movie that came out to people either loving it.
Yeah, there's like no in between. Like you said, they either love it or they hate it. Like nobody's like, it's
So as always, before we get into why you guys want to defend it, Ashley's going to tell us some of the major, we're not going to name drop anybody, but we looked through the Rotten Tomatoes comments and we come up with some of the most major criticisms about this film. So can you tell people some of the major criticisms about Halloween Ends?
So a lot of them that I've seen, Michael, he isn't the main killer. We don't get the Michael Laurie story that that was advertised. They introduced a main character at the end of this trilogy, and Mikey, our little Mikey, he seems weak. People didn't like how he was portrayed in this movie. Is there any other ones that you guys have heard of that you want to add?
Yeah, like I wanted to touch on, a lot of people said, like you said, with the marketing, the trailer was more geared towards a really long battle scene between Laurie Strode and Michael Myers. So I can understand why people were upset about that, because they did market it that way. And then when you go see the movie, it's completely different.
Yeah, but if you think back to Halloween Kills, I remember people were upset with that trailer because they gave away so much.
Yeah, no.
So like when this trailer didn't even let us know what was happening, they kind of flipped the script on everybody. I thought so, but yeah.
And I think that I've said this before. Halloween Ends, like you just said, Kaylie, is a bad victim of marketing.
Absolutely.
It's just like Jennifer's Body. It's just like Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. It's these movies that you are mismarketing. And I think that a lot of people don't really take into consideration how big marketing is for a film, positive or negative. So I think that this will end up being a cult classic, much like Halloween 3, Season of the Witch eventually.
It's just going to take time.
I think the biggest thing for me is if this would have been a standalone Halloween film, I think it would have been much more successful than if it was the end of a trilogy.
Yeah, just like Season of the Witch.
If it would have been its own standalone,
not even been called Halloween 3 at all, I think people would have liked it, because I like it, but I don't like it as a Halloween movie. And everybody knows, my love for Halloween. So
if Halloween Ends would have been a different film, and then they came out with, Halloween 4, The Curse of Corey Cunningham, maybe this would have been a little more effective.
Yeah.
Why does this movie mean so much to you guys? Like, what is it that attracts you to this film?
I think it's about the story, in our opinion, like the story coming full circle. When we first saw the movie, Rob pointed out to me that he thought Laurie was kind of becoming the new Dr. Loomis, and that she saw an evil contaminating soul within Corey the same way that Loomis saw it within Michael Myers. I think that's John Carpenter initially didn't want multiple sequels of Michael Myers. He just wanted to tell like a story of, evil. Yeah. And I feel like
Carpenter, he wasn't thinking of action figures and Michael on shirts. He wasn't thinking of that back then. He wanted to tell a story about evil. So I feel like Halloween Ends just stripped away, like it went back to like the pure story of like John Carpenter's story. And I just thought it was great, and it totally I just love the character development of like Laurie Strode. In her old age, she's the new Loomis, and I'm like, that is brilliant. She's writing a book about evil. She's like an expert on evil. She's warning her granddaughter about it. Like she is the new Loomis to me, and I was like, this is fantastic. I love that storytelling.
Right.
And I can understand that.
Absolutely, yeah. Do you guys want to give us some of your favorite moments from the movie?
I think one of my favorite moments is that whole junkyard sequence where the kids are trapped inside and they're having to run, from Corey. And I just feel that the ambiance, the music is so creepy and awesome at the same time. And the kills are sick in that scene. They are really good. They're really well done.
Yeah, definitely. Favorite moment?
Yeah, like a favorite moment of
favorite moment
in the movie.
It's for me, it was the subtle things, and for me, it was when like Laurie Strode was starting to notice Corey's evil, and that one scene when she looks out the window and she sees him standing by the bush, very reminiscent of '78, and I was like, yeah, I was like, damn, I was like, they took us right back to '78, and for me, it just goes back because like I'm such a Halloween nerd, like I noticed it right away, but like I think the average Michael Myers fan might not have like picked up on the little things, the way she was looking at Corey side eye, the way she like sensed him behind her at one point when he walked up behind her, she like knew he was there, like she could sense it almost, like it was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So I just little things like that. I like how she smelt a rat with Corey. She knew.
I think because of the trauma she endured, she was more sensitive to those type of energies and those type of bad things, and that's why she was able to spot it like right away.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and some of the favorite moments that we've seen, some of the positives that we've seen on Rotten Tomatoes is like the opening scene.
Yeah. Which was like, they went there.
I see that thing. When you see the kid fall and hit the ground, I think that is the best intro of any Halloween movie. And I'm including 78 with little Michael killing his sister. This opening is so much better.
I mean, it's good.
When I saw that kid fall and hit the floor, I was like, I'm gonna love this fucking movie.
Yeah.
Like me and this movie are gonna be great friends. Little did I know that he was gonna steal my wallet and punch my grandma. But and then like obviously you hear like Jamie Lee is a badass. Laurie's a badass.
This is at her peak. Like this is the peak of Laurie.
The final showdown is pretty awesome for as short-lived as it was.
Yeah, I mean, I could have used a little bit more, but I did like the showdown that they had.
And then you get an amazing soundtrack, and Laurie does get her happily ever after. Because I think that all of us were going into this movie under the assumption that Laurie Strode was going to bite the big one.
Right.
Yes.
If Michael dies, Laurie has to die, right? Because they're.
I thought so too. I thought they were either going to fight to a draw or if Laurie was going to lose, and I thought that was a good full circle story. But as I was in the theater when she was on the phone saying she was going to report her own suicide and stuff like that, I was like, dude. Yeah. I was like, I don't think I want her to die. I'm like, something feels wrong about that now. I was like, I changed my mind like midway through it, So
she deserves a happy ending.
Yeah, see, I feel the same way.
Ken, actually, this is different than when you did it with Cody or when you did it with Sweet and Spooky, because I think you were agreeing with them. This is different now because
well, I'm gonna be 100% honest. Like
I gotta flip you like a spatula. I'm a spatula.
I fucking hated this movie when we first watched it.
Yeah, he was like, I'm never going to watch it again.
I hated it.
This is the only time I'm going to watch it. And then it kind of simmered a little bit in his mind. And then he was like, all right, I'm going to give it another chance. And then you grew to have an appreciation for it. I do.
And what I mean by that is, like I said at the beginning, if this would have been a standalone film, I would have loved it the first time I seen it. I would have went into it. Yeah. But going into it, and I'm not a big Halloween guy.
He's not. This is why I'm like, I knew he was going to poo-poo on my Michael, because he always does.
Weird. I'm not a huge Halloween fan, so I'm not one of those Halloween purists that is like, it has to be like this and it has to be like that, because I don't feel that way.
Yeah.
But when I go in there, me personally, who's not a huge Halloween fan, is ready to see a whole movie where Laurie and Michael are going to duke it out and they're going for it. And I don't get that. I was really bummed. I didn't feel like this was the movie that I was ready for. And again, maybe that's because of my own expectation.
That's kind of how I was too.
When it was marketed as the final showdown after 40 years, I'm like, here we go. And then it's like, you will also see this kid get beat up by band geeks. I'm like, what happened? what happened with that? I missed that part. What was it? It was like one of those like, and you will get to see him. If you come in and do now, I was like, wait, well, what did he say on that quiet part about band geeks beating up Corey Cunningham? Like, there are definitely it all goes back to advertising, and I know that that's what they intended on. When you get the opening title card and it's the blue color, just like Season of the Witch, something's fishy here. They're gonna go off the beaten path. Which you guys said it at the beginning. People bitched about Halloween Kills because people knew what was happening in it. And then people go to Halloween Ends and they're like, oh, the trailer didn't show us anything of what really happened. It's like, you can't have it both ways.
No.
Yeah.
Literally, when the trailers would come out, for ends, he would leave the theater.
I'd run.
He would
I
not
would run
watch
out. I didn't want to know anything.
He didn't.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't do that. Like, I want to know.
All I wanted
Yeah.
to know is if my Karen was in it. I was hoping that it was a dream that Karen
I
died at the
know.
end of
I
Halloween.
was sad too. Yeah.
And all we got about Karen was like, hey, here's a necklace.
Yeah.
I'm like,
She did.
what?
I know.
She's
Yeah.
not dead. What are you guys doing? She's like walking around. You tell me the lady that got stabbed in the throat.
She's like, you made
Yeah.
it.
It's your fault. but Karen's dead. Give me a fucking break,
I know.
man. Bring
I
my
know.
Karen back.
The light bulb to the throat
Yeah.
lady.
It's not the same woman, is it?
Yeah.
And it goes into like the whole town. They were like looking down on Lori, and they were also looking down on Corey, and like that's how they kind of bonded with the
At first.
granddaughter. And yeah, but I think
She's
I think
like, it's your fault.
most fans went into this like expecting another H2O.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They wanted like that, or like basically a Freddy versus Jason. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? And including me, I didn't see any of this coming. So, but I was like, wait, what are they doing? So I was drawn in by that. I was like, I can't believe they did this. I'm like, this is ballsy. I'm like, they went against the grain completely. I was like, and then I was also thinking like, yo, everybody's gonna hate this one, and that's what happened. That's what happened. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to just defend it.
As bad as this sounds, when I saw her, the lady that got the light bulb in the throat, my first thought was, ooh, I feel bad for my homie James A. Janice because he put her on the kill count in Halloween Kills. Like, that was my first thought. I was like, oh, James, I'm sorry. You got to retcon this and your kill count of Halloween Ends.
Yeah, it looked
She's still
like she
kicking.
died though. Yeah, for real. Like I couldn't believe she was alive.
That was literally my first thought. I seen her and I was like, ooh, James.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, buddy.
She's tough. She's a tough lady.
So we're talking about who should have been killed
Yes.
in Halloween Kills. But what was your guys' favorite kill of Halloween Ends?
My favorite kill, even though I'd have to say, I guess it would probably go back to that junkyard scene. I know it's multiple kills, but I just think that sequence and the kills, like with the girl getting stuck under the fence and the guy's head or one of their heads getting smashed in by Corey's boot, and like the fire to the mouth in that one scene, it was just all very, very gory and very awesome. I loved it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
For me, it would be for nostalgia reasons. It would probably be when he tacked up the lady like Bob on the wall.
Okay, yeah.
It's so 1978, but I also I like that tongue on the spinning record.
Oh yeah,
The tongue on the spinning record is dope, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, and plus we got a Nick Castle cameo. We got a Darcy from Last Drive-In cameo. I mean, come on.
We did.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shout outs. We got a Dead Kennedy song when they were at the bar. So the soundtrack is pretty dope.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And like the average, like the casual fan might not know who Nick Castle is just by looking at him, but like the fans are like, that's Nick Castle, dude. So like, I feel like that was an Easter.
Well, that's just like when Darcy walks in at the radio station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, Darcy!
Yeah. We were excited. That was awesome.
For sure. So are there any like one-liners or quotes that you heard that kind of stuck with you that were your favorite?
That part where Lori's talking to Allison and Lindsay about
That makes you want to rip off your shirt and show Grief your fucking tits and say, you know what? Let's go.
Did we say that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she wouldn't say it, but I'll say it.
I thought that part was hilarious.
And she throws the pumpkin guts on the floor.
Yeah. That was just really
Yo,
funny.
and by the way, Laurie Strode gives zero fucks in this film, dude. Like she is like slashing tires. She's really like, I like in this trilogy, I like this character better than H2O. I'd rather see she's more damaged. She's more like she's more like just thrown off by the whole thing. In H2O, she's like, she's teaching a school. She's a teacher. I feel like the character was struggling much more in this trilogy to me. I mean, I just like this character better. Like, this version of the character. She was like Rambo in 2018 with she was like Rambo. You know what I mean? Like she had a whole backyard full of like guns and grenades and battle a whole basement bunker. I mean, she was ready to fight. I mean, I'd rather see her do that than like, you know, be like a principal or a teacher, whatever she was doing in H2O. But
Yeah.
Right.
She was definitely a badass in this one.
She was.
Yeah.
She was. For the little bit of amount of time she was in it. But we talked earlier about some of the Rotten Tomato criticisms of the film and, you know, what you guys have heard. But if you guys, obviously there's no such thing as a perfect film except for Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
But I'm trying to use the phone.
I'm trying. So if you guys had to do one criticism that you personally had from the film, what would your criticism of Halloween Ends be?
I'm sad they killed Corey. I feel like they could have made more films like without Michael, centering around him and Allison if they wanted to come back and do it, or you know, continue that somehow. So I'm sad that they did that.
He can always come back, you know. You never know.
They do also remember Michael imprinted his evil into Corey.
So
that's true.
Corey, Allison could be pregnant with Corey's little evil baby.
Yeah,
and he could come out with the Michael mask on, like
like an omen, like the Omen or something.
He could still be alive. He could be tough like Michael, and you know,
tough like Michael.
Tough like Michael.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna show you how tough I am in a minute.
So what about you, Robbie? Do you have any criticisms of the film?
I'll just say, like, you know, just generally the criticisms people are saying, I'm not disagreeing with them. I'm on the same page with them, kind of. There is not a lot of Michael Myers. It was advertised different. I didn't see any of this coming. And that's kind of what I liked, because you know us fans, we predict who's going to win, we predict what the film's going to be like, and then even the most hardcore fan, nobody saw this coming. Nobody. I mean, nobody. And I was reading message boards, blogs. Nobody saw this coming. So, but I will agree. Like, the criticisms are real, but like, I like the film anyway. I mean, because I like how they went against the grain. It's kind of like punk rock in a way. They did the opposite of what they thought what they were supposed to do, and I knew they were going to get shit for it, and they did it anyway. And I was like, that's pretty ballsy. That, because the easy move for them would have been to give us another copy of H2O. That would have been the easy way out for the filmmakers. I mean, so I like how they went back to like just the story of '78, basically, like the pure story of it. You know, take away like everything else, just give us the evil taking over a soul story. And at the end of the day, we still got Michael versus Laurie. And dude, if you're watching that battle in the kitchen too, if you look closely at the fridge, you see Phelps' garage flyer, the mechanic.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, from the original,
where Dr. Loomis saw the matchbook. That truck said Phelps Garage. So that's a shout out to '78. So if you look closely during the battle, there's a Phelps Garage like flyer on the fridge. You can Google it.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
yeah, I did not know that.
So would you guys say that this is your favorite in the franchise?
No, the original is always going to be my favorite. Yeah.
No,
I love the original more, I think.
No, I wouldn't say it's not my favorite. If people, like, if someone went up to me and said, "Who is Michael Myers?" I wouldn't show them this one. But you know, like, but I do like it because when you look at all the Halloweens, this one stands out to me. You could look at all of them; it stands out like 3 does. It's just different. It pops to me, you know.
Yeah.
And for me, it'll always be, my top 3 will always be Season of the Witch, H2O, and 2018. When this first came out, even when it first came out, I had it right smack dab in the middle of my rankings on the Halloween franchise, and it stays right there. It's not a movie that I love. It's not a movie that I hate, but I like it more with age for what it tried to do. For me, the 2 things I would change, if it was up to me, Corey Cunningham would have been introduced in 18 or Kills. We would have at least known who he was before making him our main protagonist in this film, and I would have killed Laurie. But
stop it!
I would have killed that shit. Honestly, I would have killed Laurie in the first 10 minutes of the film, just like they did in Halloween Resurrection, and had the rest of the movie be Allison trying to cope with what had happened to her. She lost her mom, lost her dad, lost her grandpa, but she got a crazy boyfriend and maybe a crazy Michael baby going,
No, don't put that on her.
Well,
don't put that on her.
I got a question.
Baby's gonna come out with the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
If we were introduced to Corey though earlier and got like close to that character, that would have been a depressing death. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah,
hoping.
he's saying
I
it
want
would have been more
everybody crying.
impactful. People would
Oh,
have
yeah,
been
yeah.
like,
Yeah, we
oh,
would have
yeah,
been.
like, we know
We would have
him.
been more invested in him. Like when
Yeah.
the first time we see him, we're like, "Oh, you killed a kid. Oh, now you're getting beat up by high schoolers.
I know.
What the fuck's going on with you, dude?" Like,
He's so much taller than that kid, too.
They do make you feel for him.
I like Corey.
Yeah.
Honestly, Corey's one of the standout moments of this film to me.
They did
Yeah.
make you, it pulled on your heartstrings a little bit for him.
And even though we knew going in that there was going to be a lot of Christine influence to this movie, I couldn't have imagined that they could pull off Corey the same way they did Arnie. You look at Arnie Cunningham and Christine, and he's this dork and nobody likes him except for his really close-knit friends. And then he gets the car and he becomes too cool for school. And like that transformation was very, very Christine. And I think that Arnie, I think that Corey Cunningham, we're back to Halloween Ends. I think he's the best part of the film. Even Allison falls flat in this film for me. A lot of what Allison does to me is very questionable. I'm like, you're going to believe and you're going to stick up for this guy you've known for a couple weeks over Lori, over your fucking grandma, and you know her. You know she wouldn't intentionally hurt somebody unless they deserved it.
Right.
And just another thing, real quick. I know I don't want to go on a tangent here, but the whole town is blaming Lori for what Michael did.
It's like she brought him back.
That's like blaming a woman for getting sexually assaulted. Like, well, you shouldn't have been wearing that, lady.
Yeah.
It's not her fault. It's the guy that did it. What are you blaming her for? What are you victim shaming for? You whole town of Haddonfield, you douches.
I know.
So that was one thing that bothered me. I don't like victim shaming. So.
And also how they kept calling Corey like a kid killer when that's not even like what happened. They haven't like they were both like very misunderstood. So
but I don't know, man. The imprinting was a little much for me. I
always felt like
as he was imprinting when Michael was imprinting on Corey, all I heard was "I have died every day."
Oh, stop it!
Oh my God, Twilight!
These
people not watch
what are we doing here? But this.
I always felt like Corey's glasses are very symbolic too, because eventually, like when the band geeks like just they break his glasses, that's like the changing point now. Yeah. When he stopped wearing his eyeglasses, that was like the new Corey. I felt like the glasses were very symbolic. Yeah. Plus, somehow he made drinking chocolate milk look pretty badass too when he was like confronted by the band geeks. He's just like sipping on his chocolate milk.
Like nobody knew who he was.
Yeah, nobody knew. Who's that guy?
Who's that? And he takes his glasses off.
Kind of looks like Corey. No, Corey wears glasses. Can't be him. So obviously, whenever we do a My First Horror movie, we rank a movie out of 5 skulls. But you know what? That's when you have one host. Now you got 2 hosts. So what we're going to do here is we're going to rank Halloween Ends out of 10 skulls. Now, we are just like on My First Horror Movie, we rank it then on how it affected you. We're not doing that here. What we're doing here is we are ranking Halloween Ends by what you guys feel it did critically, how it was directed, how it was lit, how the movie is as a whole. What would you rank Halloween Ends 0 to 10 skulls?
Like from a critical standpoint, I would probably give it like I don't know, like an 8.5.
Okay.
But like from like me enjoying it, I'd give it a 10.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Robbie?
I say it's a 7.5, but I enjoyed it. Like she said, like I enjoyed it pretty much like a 10, but I think it's in the middle somewhere. It shouldn't be hated. I think it should be pretty much liked. 7.5 for me.
Okay.
And yeah, like so. Nice. It got unnecessarily hate. I feel like the hate was just unnecessary. I feel like you got to give it some movies a chance, and I feel like a lot of people, especially nowadays, they go into stuff hating it before they see it, and I'm like, I'm like, come on. So
yeah,
and we definitely went into it with an open mind.
We did, yeah.
Okay, so we got an 8.5. We got a 7.5. What would you give it? I'm
gonna give it a 6. Like I said, I had, being a Halloween fan, it's my favorite franchise. The first time I watched it, I felt like I didn't get the closure that I wanted. But I also liked Lori in this, the little bit that we did get of her. And yeah, I mean, I have come, a ways, and I feel like I like it more than I did on first watching. So yeah, I'll give it a 6.
Just like always, I'm probably going to be the most critical here. I'm going to go 4.5. Like I said, it's right in the middle for me. But I mean,
I didn't flip Ken like a spatula like I wanted.
I don't hate this movie. Like, I want to make that known. For me, a 50% is very, very good.
Yeah.
So for this being like right in the middle, but there are just so many things that for me personally didn't land. I don't like the imprinting thing. I don't like the victim shaming. I don't think, but again, it's hard to live up to what Kills did on the Kills side of things.
Yeah.
It was hard to manage up to those. But there was just a lot in this movie that fell flat for me. The way that Allison treated her grandma, like that's the only family you got left, and you're gonna take the side of some boy over top of her. Like that was very childish to me. So like I said, it does have its issues, but Corey was fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
He did a great job. The radio tower, the whole radio station sequence, I feel like that was a total nod to Halloween 3, which I thought was super dope. The junkyard stuff was all really good.
Yeah.
When you got the opening, like I said, the opening is fantastic. Like that first 15 minutes could have been its own short film, and I would have been completely satisfied with that. Having it be the third part of a trilogy really brings it down too. If this would have been its own standalone movie, I might have gone up to a 6 like you.
Yeah.
But with it being the third part of a trilogy and with the issues I have, I'm going to leave it at a 4.5, which is still not bad.
Yeah.
There are at least 3 or 4 other Halloween movies that are much lower than this one on my ranking. Halloween 6 is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Throw that out there real quick.
Really?
So
Yeah.
that movie's so terrible.
Don't
wait,
even talk about Paul Rudd and his faces.
What?
Are you talking?
He's still cute.
What
Are we talking
There's a
producer's cut? Or are
baby
we
in the
talking?
bathroom? Oh.
Are we talking
Ant-Man
producers?
someday?
I'm
Oh.
surprised, but
He's
it's
better.
still. I still like it.
Are we talking producer's
I
cut
do
or like the
too.
theatrical? There's two versions of 6.
I've never seen the theatrical or the producers. Everybody tells me I need to watch the producers. I've never seen
Yeah,
it.
you might like
It's
it
a
a little
different.
better.
It's basically a different story, and the whole druid angle is much better explained in the producer's cut. But
yeah.
oh, there's a point I want to make. Is it too late to bring it up?
No problem. Go ahead.
Did you notice at the end of Halloween Ends when they went room to room in her house, but the
Yeah.
light was coming in? It was very reminiscent for me of the end of 78 when she was crying and the rooms of the house
Yeah.
were very dark. It was like
Yeah.
opposite, but this time the sun was shining through. Very symbolic of like her moving on or her
Don't
getting
fear the Reaper.
yeah, and
you
then
know?
her Don't Fear the Reaper kicked in,
Mhm.
and then that
Yeah.
guy tried to close the deal with vegetables. Remember, he shows up and he's like, "Hey, I got vegetables."
That's how people flirt, Rob.
Yeah.
But doesn't he smash?
He might have. We didn't see that part.
I'm pretty sure he
Often-
smashes.
I,
You're talking the sheriff, right?
we
Yeah.
didn't see that part of the film.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we don't want to see geriatric porn, but I'm pretty sure he smashed.
Yeah.
Oh, no, but cucumbers. She was like, "You got me."
Yeah.
You were wondering why Corey. You were wondering why Corey sided with you were wondering why Allison sided with Corey over her grandmother. I'm thinking Corey's like a freak in the bed or something.
Could be.
Grandma's talking about veggies, and I'm bringing the fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Corey's like a freak, man. I'm telling you,
Gotta
with his
be.
chocolate
I mean,
mouth.
Don't
yeah,
live in
he gotta
glasses.
be, right? He had Michael Myers imprint on him.
Yeah, that's what it was. Michael
Yeah.
Myers imprinted on him, and he was like, "Oh."
What was the thing Allison said to him about the bike? She's like, "Can you teach me how to ride it?"
Yeah, I was like,
Oh,
she's so forward. I was like, I don't blame her, but
That was like so
Right.
subtle, but I'm like, I know what she's talking about there.
Can you teach me how to ride it? Thanks for the ride, lady.
Doesn't she get like right
Okay,
here?
so you guys have 30 seconds to tell someone that hasn't seen this movie yet why they should go and watch it. What is your final defense?
it is the Halloween 3 of the David Gordon Green trilogy. And while you might not get a lot of Jamie Lee and as much Michael Myers as you would like, it tells an awesome story of evil contaminating the soul of someone who is pretty innocent until something traumatic happened to them.
Everything Kaylie said.
That was
everything.
32 seconds,
Yeah.
but good job.
It was
No,
not.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Oh, that was good.
That was great.
But if you're a fan of 78, if you're a fan of the story, this is basically Dr. Loomis's warning retold. Everything Dr. Loomis was afraid of happening. This is another version of that. When they pulled off little young Michael's mask and his parents were like, Michael, we see that happen to Corey. And so if you're a fan of the 78 story, I'm not talking about Michael Myers fan, I'm talking about the 1978 Halloween story. This is very true to that. So
Yeah.
I would say that if you could separate the categories, like Michael Myers fans and Halloween fans, if you're a Halloween fan, this is very true to that. So,
well, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Michael has about the same amount of screen time in this as he does 1978.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
That might be
very,
true.
very close in what he does on screen, because he's not on screen very much in 78 either.
Well, and I mean, you get that in a lot of the 70s horror movies. You know, you don't really see the villain as much because it's kind of almost
We're building
scarier.
up the protagonist. Yeah.
And
Carpenter, I don't think that
Carpenter was involved, right? Like John Carpenter was involved in this, right? Like, because I saw a lot of criticisms like Carpenter would never approve of this, and I'm like, wasn't he involved? Like, I thought he had some involvement in this. I don't know how much, but
I can't say for sure if this is true or not. But a rumor I heard was when David Gordon Green went and pitched the trilogy, Halloween Ends was what they pitched as a movie. And Carpenter loved it. He was like, I love that. He's like, but let's make that the end. Let's do some shit before it. And you guys can look this up. I may be wrong. I don't want this to be gospel, but I heard that that's how it went. David Gordon Green went in and he pitched Halloween Ends, and Carpenter loved it. But he was like, we need to build onto this. We need a little bit more to make this more, sustainable. So do the research yourself if you don't believe me, because it's just a rumor that I heard. And again, I don't want to come out here saying this is it, this is how it happened. But
he was there. I was sitting there.
I was right there. I was like, "Are you going to buy this shit, John? John, you're going to listen to this shit right now, really?" But that's a rumor that I heard, and I think that makes a lot of sense because that's the only way I could see this actually happening with John Carpenter being so involved in it. Is if he was like, "I love that idea, but let's build onto it first. Let's bring Michael in and have him kick a whole lot of ass first before we bring in Corey and do the imprinting and piss Ken off." But
I also want to make can I make another point real quick?
Yeah.
As far as like the Halloween series, there isn't a lot of consistency with the sequels. There's not three films you could pick that flow. There's 1 and 2, then there's 3, then there's 4, 5, then there's 6, then there's H2O that ignores all the sequels, and then there's Buster Rhymes karate kicking Michael Myers, which I have a big problem with. But I like the trilogy. You can watch these 3 movies and it flows. Like it just it makes sense. And we didn't have that before with the Halloween sequel. So I thought that was cool. That's something I really appreciate about this.
Yeah.
So
I just want to say when I flush the toilet, it flows too. So they're kind of all flowing.
I am not defending this very well, I guess. I failed.
I really, I like to joke around just because it's my wife's favorite franchise.
Yeah, he just get under my skin.
We've been together 18 years now, for those of you that don't know, and it's more of a jab at my wife to make fun of Halloween just because of how much she loves it. So,
what's your beef with Halloween?
At the beginning, guys, but
what's Ken's problem with Halloween? What's the problem?
Because he was a loser kid and didn't get to see it as a child, so he doesn't have the nostalgia like I do.
I grew up with Freddy, Jason, and Chucky. Like those were the 3 that I watched the most. And then the first time I saw Halloween '78, I was like, "Oh my god, this is so slow and boring."
He likes the first Friday the 13th. That shit is boring to me.
No, it isn't.
It's so boring.
No. Yeah. Okay.
See,
in
I
the
love
first
both
Halloween,
of those, so.
I remember.
She's making coffee for like 5 minutes.
And now I've mastered coffee.
She's also
look at. Here's Halloween. Look at.
You're being what? Okay, we're not here.
She looked out the window and she's like, "Look, there's Michael." And then she's like, still looking at it, but he's just like. And she's like, "Where'd he go? He's gone."
Okay.
Oh, he's back.
Okay.
What happened?
And Friday the 13th, they're in the woods, and the killer's right there, and she's just like, "Oh, there's nobody here in the woods."
Because she's blended into the scenery.
Okay, this is not why we're here.
I'm with Ashley. I'm with Ashley on this one.
Thank you.
Alice also took a while. She barricaded that door on Friday. That took forever too. The coffee took forever.
It was so boring.
She barricaded the door.
And Pamela, she literally gets knocked out by pencils and yarn.
Well,
okay.
And Ken,
Can
I bring a point up here?
Oh God.
You like Jason Goes to Hell, and that doesn't have a lot of Jason in it.
No, but see, again, my problem isn't the amount of Michael. Like that really is not the problem for me. I mean, Michael's boring as shit. At least Corey's entertaining.
Michael isn't boring. He's got the darkest eyes, the devil's
blackest eyes.
The blackest eye.
Look at. I've just done See this? I've just done 80% of Michael's kills.
Dude, he's
You
in the
didn't do the
sewer
one
like a
kill?
Ninja Turtle. That's not cool to you? He's in the sewer like a Ninja Turtle. It's awesome.
Yeah, or he's not like blah mommy. So
Okay, listen, we're not gonna get
okay, see, every time I bring that up, you're like, all right, we're done.
because Jason Takes Manhattan is off the table.
No, it's not. It's not though. Like it's
Hey,
there.
Okay,
Manhattan.
I'll take Jason puking and saying "mommy" over Paul Rudd going. Did you guys see this baby?
I
He was in the
wouldn't.
bathroom.
I wouldn't.
I'm an Avenger.
What is he doing?
I like that movie, but I think it's funny.
I wouldn't.
I do
Okay.
not remember Paul Rudd doing that ever.
Watch Halloween 6 again. Everybody watching this,
Yeah.
YouTube, watch Halloween 6 and everything Paul Rudd does. He's always like,
He's overacting in that movie because it's like one of his first jobs.
his
he ever
first
got.
movie, right?
Yeah, I think
It
so.
is. It
it
is.
is his very first job.
Give him a break. He's still
Yeah,
he's
he's
still
cute.
beautiful, and it's 25 years later.
No, he still looks the same.
The guy doesn't age.
So, guys,
You notice
I
that?
said it at the beginning, but I do want to say this one more time. I have all of that horror couple's social media links, as well as their YouTube link down in the description. So make sure you're subscribing and following them on social media.
Mhm.
Please make sure you like and subscribe now because it really does help the channel more than you know. And follow Sledgehammer Horror on social media. All our links are down in the description as well. But before we let you guys go, one last thing. In the comments below, please let us know, what did you think of Halloween Ends? What would you rank it out of 10? And if you go back and rewatch it with some of the things that you've heard now, does it change your perspective because of the way that Rob and Kaylie defended it? And does it make you want to go back and rewatch it and try to go in with an open mind now that the marketing is done and you know what you're getting into? So, guys, hold on a second. Please don't go anywhere. Everybody else, until next time, keep talking horror.
Stay who you are.
And we'll see you guys soon.
Bye, guys.